What if I told you that the San Francisco 49ers could potentially land two top players at their respective positions in this upcoming draft? Make sure you smash that like button. On today's episode, we're going to talk about draft day scenarios. What's going on, 49er faithful? Welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show. Welcome everybody out there. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. It's a great Monday. We are 3 days to the NFL draft. It's draft week. It's mock draft Monday. Make sure you check out my mock draft episode as well. You can see kind of like how I was wheeling, I was dealing. I felt like I was Kevin Costner on draft day, baby. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you check it out. All right. Don't forget to hit that like button. All right. If you're first time watching, make sure you click on subscribe. All right. Make sure you click on subscribe. It definitely will help the channel in the long run. Also, you can become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew if you want to support. Just click on that join button if you feel like that's something that you want to do. Got several tiers out there that you guys can check out. All right. And don't forget to follow on the other respectable social medias. All right. So make sure you guys check those out. It's at the Wayne Breezy everywhere you go. Also, don't forget to subscribe and listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. I love Spotify Podcasts because they have polls and all that kind of good stuff that I can interact with you guys over there. So make sure you guys go ahead and leave me a review as well. All right. And this show is brought to you by our partners over at residency.com. You can see them in my hat case right there. www.residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy so you can save on your total purchase. All right. They're rocking out with us for another season. So definitely check out our partners over there at residency.com. All right, guys, what's going on? How you doing? How was your weekend? How was your Easter weekend? Hope you guys are doing great. I'm having a blast. Still getting work done on my bathroom, and it's just another week of work. They're doing a great job so far. I can't wait to see what the finished bathroom is going to look like. Other than that, I gotta go outside to use the bathroom. All right, so so it is what it is. But for right now, I'm happy, I'm content, and I'm here with you guys. Shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew in the building, Peachy in the building, locked and loaded. Just salute Breezy and the faithful chit chat. It's draft week. Let's freaking go. All the members of the Breezy Bunch crew are in here for sure. Jax Knox in the building. Hey, Wayne and faithful. I see Jax has a question, and I will make sure I get to that question as soon as I shout out the members of the Breezy Bunch crew. Shout out to 49ers _throwback. Good morning, faithful. It's draft week. Boats is in the freaking building. Oscar is in the building, and all the other members of the Breezy Bunch crew. If you join a little bit later, thanks for being members. And all the subscribers out there, I truly appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. All right, Jax had a question. We're going to start the show off with a question. It's a money question. I like this question, right? And if you guys have some questions, feel free to put it in the chat. I will be responding to those that are members first. And if I see your question, I'll try to do my best to star it. Jack says, Wayne, what do you think about us taking Kelvin Banks at 11? And I feel like Kelvin Banks at 11. First, let me just say this, and it's a great question, Jack. So thank you so much for asking. I feel like whoever the 49ers take at 11, and I think I said this on Twitter, it's kind of like a reach, right? Because it's where you're picking that player. First of all, we're drafting at 11, and then the position has kind of like a value, and then the player has value. And so I don't even feel like pick 11 is a safe pick for the Niners. We got to nail that pick, but it's just weird for the Niners picking at 11 because I feel like the top players at their respective positions that we need will be gone. Does that make sense? And so even if you're talking tackle, a lot of people don't have Kelvin Banks as a top tackle in the first round, which is blowing my mind. I can't figure out why. I actually think I have him better than the top two tackles. Okay. And here's why, right? So I have Kelvin Banks slightly higher than Will Campbell. I think Will Campbell has a higher floor. I mean, a higher ceiling. Excuse me. I think he has a higher ceiling. So I think he'll become something greater in the long run. I think Armand Membu brings you great athleticism. I'm not sure about his versatility. A lot of people say he's going to play guard at the next level. And so at least you'll get guard and tackle, right side ability. But he's killing the game for his size with his athleticism. And this does not mean that Kelvin Banks isn't athletic or Will Campbell isn't athletic. But if we're talking tackles, these are the top 3 tackles as of right now. And then there's Kelvin Banks, who I feel is still athletic, not as athletic as Campbell, not as athletic as Armand Membu, but I think he's a better run blocking guard, and I think he's a better pass protecting guy, and he's a left side guy. He's a left tackle, right? And so I feel like left tackles have higher priority than right tackles, and I don't think Membu can play on the left side. At least he hasn't. And so it really comes down to Will Campbell, Kelvin Banks. To answer your question, I can absolutely see the 49ers going Kelvin Banks at 11, especially if a certain situation happens. Okay? And that situation is Trent Williams gets on the phone. Hey, yo, guys, man, I don't think I'm going to come back. I think I'm going to be hanging up the cleats, man. You know what I'm saying? And so go ahead and get you that stud from Texas. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get you a Kelvin Banks. And so that's when I could see the Niners using that pick, because now the need goes up, right? And it's crazy because we still need defensive guys, but I think the position runs dry. I think the well runs dry, or water runs dry once you get past that first round. Now you're looking for guys that can become something, which I still like a couple of guys out there that I think could play tackle right away. I do like Ariante Mercery out of Minnesota. I also like Josh Connerly. You want to talk about athleticism? I mean, I think he has it. And then there's the kid Charles Grant from William and Mary. But he's more of a project. Definitely a high athleticism guy. So there's guys, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners did that. I'm not even going front. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners did that. Now, again, like I said, you can go after – the Niners can go any way they want with pick 11. Like, you get what I mean? I just hope that they address impact and need on that day if they stay at pick 11. Now, I do have a poll question going on out there. You know what I'm saying? Oscar says 11 must be defensive end, linebacker. Plenty of tackles in the second or third round. I agree with this. But I will say, if Trent Williams decides to hang up the cleats, and I know he didn't sound like the way I sounded because I'm not country. If he does hang up the cleats, I think the priority of left tackle may jump a little higher, because you got to think about the 49ers. They're depleted on the offensive line. They lost depth that potentially would have been starting. So Jalen Moore is gone, and now you're like, who's going to be that starting guy? Austin Pleasant, or like who's going to be? I think the priority of left tackle goes up. So if Trent stays, I agree with Oscar. You don't have to worry about drafting an offensive lineman until round three. Easily round 3. You can get you a guard, get you a tackle round 3 easily. But if he does retire, which I'm not saying he is, I'm not putting that rumor out there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a possibility that can happen. And if that happens, if that happens, you better be ready to answer that. Shout out to everybody that's watching everywhere. I forgot that I'm streaming on Twitter, or X, excuse me. I'm also streaming on Facebook and Twitch. So I just wanted to shout out those that are watching on there. Come on over to the YouTube channel so you can be part of the YouTube community. I got the poll question going on. There is a trade poll question going on. So I got to turn myself to this screen because I don't have a camera over here. Which 49ers first round trade scenario would you choose? 49ers trade up in round 1, 49ers trade down in round 1, 49ers trade back into round 1, or they just stay at pick 11. All right, they stay at pick 11. Now, I will look to read those results. Somebody please remind me. I will look to read those results toward the end of the show. Shout out to my brother Kali in the building. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you, dog. Don't bother me in the building as well. Appreciate you guys on the live chat. Todd McShay keeps lighting the Will Johnson smoke. Keeps lighting the Will Johnson smoke. Listen, I know a lot of people don't like Will Johnson, but I really think I don't know. What is it? You know what? I need to ask, what is the question? I understand not drafting Will Johnson at 11 because that's not technically the need. But what if there's a plan behind it? Would you be okay if there's a plan behind drafting Will Johnson at 11? I'm just curious. Like, would y'all be okay with that? Because I'm trying to figure out what is it that people don't like about Will Johnson. You talk about a kid that has 3 career pick sixes in college. You talk about a kid that's just great high ball IQ. What are you worried about? Top speed, him getting to the top gear. I mean, he ain't gonna let nobody get by him to have to get to that top gear. I don't know what it is, but every corner I feel like that is in this draft has their pros and they have their cons, right? And if we just focusing on the pros, we don't have to worry about none of the cons. If we focus on the pros, look, Jahdae Barron is a dog, right? He's the most versatile corner. You can use him anywhere. That's not who Will Johnson is. He's not even built like Jahdae Barron, right? So it all comes down to what does Robert Saleh want? And so you got to go back and look at what Robert Saleh did in New York. Like, that would be it. Who did he draft? Sauce. Oh, yeah, I know Sauce Gardner. He's a dog. He's a guy. He's a guy that plays very high IQ, plays really good zone coverage, all right? Can potentially play press. And I think that's Will Johnson's greatest weakness. He has to get stronger out there to play that press man. But the Niners don't play a lot of press man anyway. They're playing 4 or 5 yards off the ball on one side, right? Like, that's the way they play football. So it's more zone based. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's new defensive coordinator, new defensive scheme, but not scheme, but just the way they might see stuff. We don't know what we're going to be getting back from Robert Saleh. We don't know if he's going to change things up. And that's why I think the Will Johnson smoke is out there, because they're tying, well, he went with a guy like Sauce Gardner when he was with the Jets. You feel me? So that I think that's why the smoke is there. I think that's why the smoke is there. All right. I truly do. Got another question out there, Jex. From Peachy. What's going on, Peachy? I want to get my click, boo. All right, Peachy Breezy, if we trade back into the first round, you got to wait. I got a whole presentation. Oh, man. There's so many. There's so many options. There's so many options. If we do trade back into the first round, it all depends on what they did at pick 11. So remember I said, what if there's a scenario where they go Will Johnson at pick 11? Well, everybody has been valuing the defensive tackle position with late. Oh, don't draft Walter Nolan at so high. Don't draft Walter Nolan at 8. Nobody's talking about drafting Derek Harmon at 8. Shamar Stewart may be there at 20, whatever you draft if you trade back in. There's just players that may be there. So it all depends on how the draft board falls. But that would make the Niners want to trade up, right? That would make the Niners say, hey, yo, my guy is still here. And when you look at the trade scenarios, there's a potential where the Niners can feel like, yo, I get a top corner and a top edge rusher, or a top corner and a top tackle, defensive tackle. Oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's going to cost you some draft capital, and we'll talk about that. But if there's a play, it could be any one of those late round first picks that everybody feel like, the Niners shouldn't draft Mykel Williams at 11. The Niners shouldn't draft Jalen Walker at 11. The Niners shouldn't draft Mike Green at 11. And then one of those players just happens to fall. And next thing you know, boom, you trade back up, you get your guy. And we've seen this happen, right? We've seen the Niners trade back into the first round. Do I need to go back to 2017? Did I need to go back to 2017? Because 2017 is when we did that. We traded back up. We got Reuben Foster. Remember, we drafted Solomon Thomas, and then we traded back up and got Reuben Foster. Didn't work. Didn't work out. It didn't work out. It is. It is what it is. All right. So it is what it is. Now, let's talk about some Niners news that's out there. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. Just a quick announcement, draft day schedule. So Thursday night, I'll be going live right here on my channel at 7 p.m. That's 1 hour before draft coverage starts. And then on Friday night, 6 p.m., which is 1 hour before the draft coverage kicks off at 7 p.m. All right. So I will be here live. I'll try to get the nitty gritty crew with me. I know Peachy will be here. We're going to have some fun right here on the channel, all right? So we'll see how that's popping, but make sure you guys are locked in right here. You're not going to want to miss it. You're not going to want to miss the overreactions. Now, how the draft shows will work will be an hour live, and then as soon as the draft pick has been selected, all right, the show is going to come to an end. All right, I got to run over to Bleacher Report. So make sure you download the Bleacher Report app, or you can watch it probably stream live on YouTube. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but download the Bleacher Report app. All right, I'll go live there for 30 minutes to talk about the draft pick. And then I'm going to come back to this channel and do a reaction show for the first round and second round and third round. So Thursday and Friday, that's how those days, that's how it's going to be set up. It's going to be a stay up all night type of thing. So you're not going to want to miss out on that. All right. You're not going to miss out. Now, John Lynch is scheduled to speak tomorrow, I believe, 3 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So don't forget to check out what John Lynch is going to have to say. This is like his pre-draft speech. He does it every freaking year. And Matt Mayoko also talked about wide receiver Demarcus Robinson potentially being suspended for 3 games for, violating for the DUI, right? Right. So that's potentially going to happen now. The league has not made an official announcement as of yet, but per Matt Mayoko, this is kind of like what he sees is going to happen, where he's going to be suspended for the first 3 games of the 2025 season. And so I got the questions for you. My question here is simple. Okay, my question is simple. Why the hell did the Niners sign a guy that was about to be arrested in the offseason? Like, there was tons of wide receivers. And so why do you sign a wide receiver that's about to be arrested? So somebody help me understand, you know what I'm saying? Wagwan. Like that doesn't make sense. You could have signed several veteran receivers. And there's a rumor going out saying that the San Francisco 49ers probably are looking to trade for a veteran. For what? Just sign a free agent. I don't understand it, but you got the veteran rumors going on out there that they might trade for a veteran. But my thing is, if you knew now, I'm not saying he's going to be suspended. And I'm hoping that the San Francisco 49ers did their due diligence and their homework, so maybe he won't be suspended. But why sign a guy and give him guaranteed money? And clearly this sounds like a character guy, right? So I'm going to look at this both ways. Way number one, I don't get why they signed him if they don't really particularly like guys that are character issues. Okay? Cool. Way number two, I mean, half glass, half empty, half full, however you want to look at it. Maybe the Niners are changing. Maybe they miss those bad boys. Maybe, and I'm not saying he's a bad boy, but maybe they miss guys that kind of like live out on the edge. Speaking of edge, what if the Niners are really high on defensive end Mike Green from Marshall, who's had his off the field situations? And, I'm just saying, maybe we're taking a little turn for it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Now I see some comments out there from the crew. Niners should bring in Keenan Allen after the draft. Free agent. Now listen, I'm all for the free agency. I'm all for the free agency. I'm all for adding free agents, cheap deals, things like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm all for it. 1,000%. I'm all for it. Okay. So maybe that is something that they do. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that is something that they look to do. There's tons of free agents. Amari Cooper's out there. Keenan Allen is out there. Now, as far as trading for a vet, I'm not trading for a wide receiver. I traded away a wide receiver. Why would I trade for a wide receiver? So maybe they're trading for an edge rusher, but why would they trade for an edge rusher that's on a 5th-year option? That's the Chase Young route. Maybe you get some type of comp pick if he gets signed the following year. You know what? There it is right there. There it is right there. Like, I don't know. The Niners, they just do their due diligence. They do their business the way they handle their business. Now, there's another rumor out there that this could potentially open up the 49ers trading quarterback Brock Purdy. Because you have some quarterbacks that you can trade for. And I hate to bring this guy up, but I'm sure that the Atlanta Falcons would take whoever or whomever and get rid of Kirk Cousins. And then Kyle Shanahan will finally get his guy back. Like, I don't want that to happen. I'm just putting out the hypotheticals. I see the comments. Listen, I don't want that to happen. Trust me. But, damn. I mean, you got the Brock Purdy not agreeing with the initial offer and contract negotiations. That's all I'm going to say that is. And what if the Niners aren't going to bluff? I mean, I don't know what the numbers are. I mean, they're rumored to be Brock wants north of 55 and Niners want 50. And then it's coming down to the length of the contract. I think Brock wants 5 years. Niners want to do 3 years. I don't know. It's a lot. I'm just saying, be ready for fireworks on draft night. If you're a Niner fan, like Niner faithful says, you better not get Cousins. Look. I think this whole fan base will literally riot. Like, not boycott, riot. I mean, it will get violent. I think it would get violent if Kirk Cousins became the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I do see there's a question from my brother Keith Wright over on Facebook. And he says, hey, did Will Johnson make a business decision at the midseason point, realizing Michigan wasn't going to be in the title for the hunt, then going down with what was supposed to be a turf toe injury, but never really returning to play? Listen, I don't know what Will Johnson did. I'm all I'm going to say is your theory can be correct. And let's not act like we've never seen this happen before. I mean, Nick Bosa did this. Nick Bosa did the same thing. Nick Bosa didn't even play his final year. That was a huge business decision, went to train and bet on himself and was the number 2 pick. But he knew he was going to be the number 2 pick. I think Will Johnson is confident that he's going to be a top pick and potentially, I'm not going to say the first real cornerback off the board, but he might be the second cornerback selected in this draft. I think it's going to take a special coach to really utilize Jahdae Barron, and I think Robert Saleh will be able to do that because of his versatility and where you want to play him. But I think what you're getting, 6'2" corner on the outside that can cover, that has high IQ for the basketball. I think he's going to be a top corner. I put out a tweet, I think last week, saying if he fell to 43, the Niners better fly that card to the moon and get that card. Now, I'm not saying he's going to fall to, I never said he was going to fall to 43, but you got all these reports coming out. Oh, he didn't run. He tested poorly. He did this. He did that. And so I'm like, well, maybe a lot of teams will pass up on him and he'll just happen to fall to number 43. Now, there's a lot of scenarios the Niners can go. I mean, Will Johnson could fall to the late in the round. I don't really see him falling past. I had him going to Pittsburgh, but then the Pittsburgh situation kind of shifted a little bit. I think they really need to go get a quarterback because they didn't get a quarterback yet. Like, you know what I mean? And so I could see him going to Pittsburgh. I could see Cincy taking another quarterback, and they're in the teens. And so I can see Will Johnson going first round, but I could see him sliding back a little bit just because of the need for different teams. I wouldn't be surprised, though. Michigan was trash last year, and it wasn't that their defense was trash. I want to put that out there. So because we got a lot of players this year in the draft off their defense. You got Kenneth Grant, you got Mason Graham, you got Josiah Stewart, right? And then you got Will Johnson, and then you got a couple of offensive players. And I really think that the offense hurt Michigan more than the defense. Just not having a quarterback really hindered a lot of the players. But I don't, like, when I think about Michigan, I'm like, yo, Colston Loveland, why is he, like, he was garbage. Oh, yeah, but they didn't have a quarterback. Well, it's the same difference on the defense. I mean, these guys played, but as far as Will Johnson, you could be 100% right. You could be 100% right. 1,000% right. Oscar says Niners trade back in for Jaden Higgins, Green and Higgins, or Jahad Campbell. I could see Jahad Campbell falling too to the late teens, like early 20s. And I could see them trading back up to get their linebacker. And hint, I went back to 2017, and I'm saying, what did they do in 2017? Edge linebacker. So, Oscar, this is a possibility. I really don't see a team. I could see the Colts going linebacker at 14. I feel like the Bengals should go linebacker at 17. Like, I'm just telling you teams I think that should go linebacker, but they might not. They may not. But if he falls to the 20s, we talk about Jahad Campbell, and I feel like he's the best off-ball linebacker in this draft. Phew. If the Niners can get him by trading back up to get him, that would be something sexy. Jack says, they had us taking Mike Green at 11 on NFL Live mocks, so who knows? Look, if the Niners don't go Mike Green, he's going to the Falcons. That's easy peasy. But what's happening is things are shifting. And so the question is, what are the teams ahead of the 49ers going to do, right? I think that's the key. Don't bother me. What are the ramifications of Brock holding out? Nothing. I think he gets his guaranteed bread, which is what, that $5 million. Brock has that's his guarantees. So I think he's going to get that regardless if he holds out or not. As far as the team, though, the ramifications, we're talking team chemistry. You're talking him not being there to do the install. So can you imagine your quarterback one not showing up in camp? I don't even want to guess what that might be like. Like, you know what I mean? I definitely don't want to guess what that might be like. But there's a possibility that he doesn't, and he does hold out, and the Niners will be okay. But we've seen when players hold out, they're not good. They're no good. Brandon Ayuk held out, no good. Trent Williams held out, no good. Now, I'm not saying Brock can't hold out and be no good, but I don't want to test it. I don't want to test it at all. Don't bother me. That's just me talking. That's my personal opinion. I wouldn't want to test that at all. I would like my quarterback in camp doing installs with the offense. Offense one. That's what we need. So I think the Niners are going to get it. I don't think the Niners are stupid enough to trade away Brock Purdy. But if it's cheaper to pay Kirk Cousins than it is to pay Brock Purdy, I can't believe I'm thinking this and just draft another quarterback. Like, I said that a long time ago. I said that there's a possibility that the Niners move on from Brock and Kyle Shanahan just keeps reshifting the money at the quarterback spot. And a lot, you got Chris Sims out here and Mike Florio talking about no teams will have Brock Purdy as a top 10 quarterback. I don't understand that, because if statistically he's top 10, then how is he not a top 10 quarterback? And you can't throw in the caveat because he had an all-star squad. It's not his fault he had an all-star squad. We drafted well and we developed well. So at the end of the day, and we traded well, right? So I don't understand how you can say that. You can't blame Brock for having the team. And he was still a top 10 quarterback, at least top 15, without anybody. We're talking 2s and 3s. So he don't have, like, I don't get it. Like, that's the dumbest thing. And to me, you can't say that, because every team has somebody that's an all-star or a Pro Bowler or whatever, right? Every team, even Josh Allen. So what are we saying? And whatever Josh Allen teammates don't pick up, he's able to obviously use his legs to get it done. I don't remember this, but can somebody tell me when Josh Allen rookie season was throwing 8,000 interceptions, did they throw him under the bus? I don't remember him ever being thrown under the bus. I remember Lamar Jackson being thrown under the bus, and I remember them saying that they wanted him to be a running back. But I don't remember them ever throwing Josh Allen under the bus. And look at him now. So I don't understand why Purdy, other than the fact that he was Mr. Irrelevant in the draft, doesn't get some of the same, love. Because at the end of the day, he still goes out there and win games. And yeah, we struggled last year because we couldn't successfully run the ball. What the fuck that got to do with Brock Purdy? I don't get it. I don't understand what that has to do with Brock Purdy. I bet you if the Buffalo Bills and James Cook didn't develop and they couldn't run the ball, it'd be more on Josh Allen, and he'll be two things: hurt or trash. Even Lamar Jackson, who's probably the most dynamic quarterback in the NFL, they even went and got him a running back. Come on, man. You need a running back. You got to run the ball. And then we could talk about how bad the defense was, but I'm not trying to blame the defense just on the quarterback situation. But I just told you how the defense from Michigan struggled because the Michigan didn't have a quarterback. So at the end of the day, Purdy kept the 49ers relevant. At 6-11, he kept them relevant. And unfortunately, the defense couldn't close out some games. But at the end of the day, what do I know? I don't think the Niners need to move on from a guy like Brock Purdy. I think that would be silly. It just sucks that it's time to pay him and we didn't win anything. That right there is where it gets a little tricky. All right? That's where it gets a little tricky. And so those are the rumors that are going on out there. Let's talk about some of these trade situations. So I got 3 scenarios for the Niners, and we'll talk about the first one where they can actually potentially trade up. Now, it's going to cost them. Now, on Twitter, I had another first-round pick in here, and I'll tell you why. I know a lot of people probably think I'm crazy to the max, but I'm not as crazy as some of these other guys out there. But I'm going off of fact, okay? What did the 49ers trade for Trey Lance? I got to bring it back to that 2021 draft, and I'm sorry, and I know people don't want to hear about it, but we got to talk about it because the Niners have the ability to actually trade up with 11 picks in this draft. Now, if they trade up, you can already see I got the team, New York Giants, and you already know who I think the 49ers should trade up for if they happen to trade up, because I'm banking on Cam Ward going to the Titans and Travis Hunter going to the Browns. That's what I'm banking on. I feel like that's what's going to happen. Now, for the Niners to trade up, it's going to cost them their first-round pick in 2025. That's the year we're currently in. All right? They're going to have to give up a 2026 first and a 2026 third. Now, for those that don't understand the point value system, I will talk a little bit about the point value system, okay? So my first round pick is worth 1,250 points. So the 49ers first round pick is 1,250 points. The Giants first round pick is 2,200 points. So the Niners got to figure out a way to make up the difference. So let's just do the math real quick. And if you watch my last mock draft, you hear a bunch of math on that draft, right? All right, so a lot of math. So 950 points. So the Niners got to come up with 950 points. Now, the future stuff is what makes this kind of hard. And I want to say it's more in favor for the Niners because the Niners are banking on them drafting at the bottom of the draft next year in the first round. So let's just say the Niners finish. Let's say they win the Super Bowl. Let's go all the way out. Let's say they win the Super Bowl. All right. So that first round pick is only worth about 590 points. According to this year's draft chart, I don't think the numbers change that much. So I know the comp picks are going to be different, but so 590 points. So 500, we still got to come up with points. And so that's where that third round pick comes in. So the Giants are hoping that the San Francisco 49ers finish no lower, I guess, than 17, because 17 is 950 points, and then that third round pick will be bonus, and so they will win the trade as far as points. But let's say if the Niners don't finish 17th and they finish first. If they finish first, which is they'll be drafting last, 590 points. And then when you add that third round pick in there, all right, that's only 215 points. So essentially, the Niners are winning the trade value deal. Okay, so if we do decide to trade up, and I'm just saying if, and it's not saying that we're going to do that, but if we do decide to trade up, the 49ers can essentially trade up for Abdul Carter and essentially get the top pass rusher in the draft, right? Top pass rusher, you're talking speed, bend, elite moves, power. You're talking perfect complementary piece. Okay, when I say perfect, it's close to perfect as you're going to get. I mean, there are reports out there saying that his ceiling, we're talking about his ceiling is like Lawrence Taylor, and his floor is Micah Parsons. That's a lot. That's tough because first of all, I don't think the game of football is allowed to play like Lawrence Taylor. So to say that anybody, but I think they're just talking about his tenacity out there off the edge and how dangerous of an edge rusher he is. Okay. And, let me ask this question, right? If Lawrence Taylor was in today's football and he played in today's football, would you want Lawrence Taylor on the 49ers? I'm just asking a hypothetical. I know it can't ever happen, but in the chat, would you want Lawrence Taylor on the 49ers? If Lawrence Taylor was in this draft and he came out with the ability to get to the passer, would you want Lawrence Taylor on the San Francisco 49ers? I'm just asking. And there's a reason why I'm asking, and I'll share that reason once I see some of the live. Once I see some of the the comments, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna post up people that aren't freaking members. What kind of question is that? Okay, it's a serious question though. Greatest linebacker of all time? Yes, I know people think I'm crazy, but why is it that we'll go after a guy like, now I'm just saying Lawrence Taylor coming out of college, you can't really say what Lawrence Taylor did in the NFL, but him coming into the NFL, let me rephrase that. Lawrence Taylor coming in, and it's probably before a lot of people in their lifetime, because we a lot of people aren't old, but coming into the NFL, would you want Lawrence Taylor? Would you draft Lawrence Taylor coming into the NFL? The comments are 1,000% exactly what I expected from a live show. Well, I'm asking this question because Lawrence Taylor coming into the NFL, he was drafted in 1981, literally the year that I was born. That's when he started his football career. All right, played 13 seasons with the New York Giants and is probably the greatest edge rusher of all time. Possibly, I guess, all depends. You know what I'm saying? All right, there's my boy Easy. He says, I'm from VA. Yes, you can. Okay. And so I'm asking. So Lawrence Taylor was 240 pounds, outside linebacker. And when I talk about these outside linebackers, I get so much flack because they're too light, they're too small. But you would want Lawrence Taylor, but you wouldn't want an Abdul Carter. You wouldn't want a James Pierce. You wouldn't want a Mike Green. Like, I'm trying to understand why, if they are elite pass rushers. I'm trying to figure out why. Because the Niners already have their book in. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to go that route and get another 6'5", 265-pound guy. I'm not saying that they're not going to do that. But why not get the complementary piece? You get what I'm saying? Now, a lot of people, I'm hearing from the reports that I'm hearing out there is that foot issue is nothing. I'm hearing it's nothing. So a lot of people saying if he's banged up or all that kind of good stuff, I'm hearing it's really nothing. It's really stuff because he just didn't want to test. That's what I'm hearing. I got some sources. So I'm hearing that foot injury is absolutely nothing. But if it is more than something, it's potential that he falls out of the top 5, right? Which I don't see that happening. So I asked that question because why not go after the elite pass rusher in the draft? Why not go after a guy that can get to the quarterback? Even if they're 240 pounds, I don't think the Niners have a type out there on the edge. And last and certainly not least, This is not about Abdul Carter. I was talking about James Pierce Jr., who the Niners had a top 30 visit with. He's 240 plus pounds, definitely under 250, but he's 6'5". You know who we had last year that had double digits and was the second sack leader on this team? Leonard Floyd. My comp for James Pierce Jr. was Leonard Floyd. Now, I understand he has his work ethic issues or whatever, like how hard he wants to work, but guess what he does? He can set the edge and he can get to the quarterback. Now, I understand that college edge setting is totally different than NFL edge setting. I get it. But these are guys that play with high motors and that have really elite moves out there on the edge to get to the quarterback. And I don't know about you, but I know me, myself, and I need results. I want to, you know what? A pass rush that I want a sack. Give me the sack. Nick Bosa's moving pockets for sure. But he ain't getting home like he was because the defense, the offensives are saying, don't let Nick Bosa get to you. Don't let him get to you. So give me a guy that has twitch, first step quickness, out off the edge, little speed, good bend, good power to speed ratio. That'd be Mike Green. I think he has the best. But give me those type of guys to complement what I got on the other side. Like, that's what I'm asking. So if Lawrence Taylor is draft worthy, I think these guys like Abdul Carter, James Pierce Jr., Jalen Walker, if they're going to play him as edge, Mike Green, I think they're worthy to be picks with the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm not comparing these guys to one another. And this was before, obviously, that incident, Jedi, before he got addicted, before that. But just coming out of college, he was the guy. Let's just say it before that. You know what I'm saying? But again, this is totally, I'm just saying, we can win on the edge with a lighter guy. Don't forget, man, the Niners traded for D Ford. He was the lighter of the edge rushers. He could still set the edge. He was barely 250 pounds, maybe 250, 252 at the max when he played with the Niners. Unfortunately, he was injury prone and he didn't get on the field a lot, but we did get to the Super Bowl that year. That's the complimentary piece to your edge rusher, Nick Bosa. Not saying we don't go Michael Williams, though. Not saying that. All right, so that trade one scenario, basically, let me just recap. It's giving up a lot, but the point value kind of makes sense. And then, I mean, obviously the Niners are going to be without two future picks, but they still got the remaining of their picks. They just don't get a first-round pick this year. All right, now going to trade two scenario. All right, so the Niners can trade down. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, and you got the report out there from Adam Schefter today saying that the Niners are looking to trade back. All right. They're looking to trade back. All right. And so this is a way that they can trade back because the Denver Broncos have been reported today that they're looking to move up. And so you can swap picks with Denver and gain an extra second round pick. And this sounds like a win-win for the Niners because now you get another top player, top 100 player, and you move back 9 spots. Now, everybody, for the love of me, loves drafting Walter Nolan, Will Johnson. I think if you get him at 20, I think it's okay, right? Will Johnson at 20, cool. Walter Nolan at 20, cool. Derek Harmon at 20, cool. Kenneth Grant might be available. Some people have him higher than Nolan and whatever. I think you have an opportunity of getting one of those players because I can tell you right now, if the Denver Broncos trade up to 11, and I think they only do this if Ashton Jeanty is still on the board. And I think they have a plan A and a plan B. So I think Jeanty is plan A, and I think Tyler Warren might be plan B. But I think Jeanty will be there because I think that the Raiders never mind. I just think it gets weird. So the Niners potentially, John Lynch, Denver Bronco ties, is probably going to get on the phone with Denver Broncos general manager, call him up. Hey, let's go ahead and swap these first round picks, but let me get 51. And for those that are stickler to the point system, it works. It's only a 10-point difference in the favor of the Broncos. So they literally saved 10 points. I got my math right here. Again, the Niners pick is worth $12.50. All right. The Broncos pick 20 is $8.50 and their pick 51 is $3.90. Total it all up. It works in their favor, or maybe the Niners owe them a couple of points or whatever. They might have to throw in a 7th or something. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you know what? Let me just do the goddamn math. All right, let me just do the math. So $8.50 and $3.90. all right, is the point total for that first and second round pick. So 850 plus 390, that gives you 1240. Man, I am good. The Denver Broncos. So the Niners, they need to give the Niners more. But I think the Niners will walk away with this. The Niners will have 10 points left over, technically. So I can see this being a potential trade. Now, if they decide to do something like this, now you can get the value at the position. What's going on, Red Jet Shell? I see you in the building. You can get the value at the position. You guys like drafting these defensive tackles later in the round. So what about getting one at pick 20? All right. And now you got another top 100 pick. So in the round 2, you can address something. All right, you can address that. Now, you know what? Let me get through this trade scenario real quick. All right, and let's go ahead and kind of look at it, what it's going to look like on the mock draft simulator. All right, now, last and certainly not least, my last trade scenario for today, the San Francisco 49ers. Don't forget to take part in that poll question that we got going on out there as well. The 49ers trade back into the first, and the Minnesota Vikings would be the perfect team to want to look to trade back in the first round. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings technically care about a first round pick when they only have 4 picks in total. So if you're giving them 3 picks, now you have to do the math because essentially we're underneath the point value of their first round pick. All right. So their first round pick is worth 740 points. Now we still keep pick 11. So now the Niners are drafting 2 first rounders if Minnesota agrees to this trade. Now you're giving Minnesota pick 443, which is 470 points, one of your third round picks, which is 215 points, and then I think one of your fourth round picks, which is worth 47 points. So technically, we're still under that 740, right? That's that's crazy, right? And so you're hoping, technically, you could try to give up less, but I like to make this as close to fair as possible, how I think they would do it. But the Minnesota Vikings and the Niners can look to address and get 2 impact players from day one. Like this to me seems like it's my favorite because I know we're giving up players. And now, if you feel like Will Johnson is a guy that you can win with because you want to shore up the cornerbacks room, and now you can kick whoever you need to kick. You can make Deommodore Lenoir full-time nickel because a lot of teams are going to be coming out in 11 personnel anyway. And so now you got your 2 outside guys in Renardo Green and Will Johnson. This would be something. And if you can add Walter Nolan, because I think Walter Nolan is going to be there later on in the rounds. Why? Walter Nolan screams Philadelphia Eagles to me. Like, I feel like everybody's going to pass up on him. He's going to go to the Eagles, and he's going to be the menace to society, literally. And I don't want to let that happen. There's 2 players I don't want going to different teams. I'm not going to lie. Walter Nolan to the Eagles and Derek Harmon to the Chiefs. I just feel like it'd be cheat codes. It'd be straight up cheat codes. But so at pick 24, you can look to get a guy like Walter Nolan. Now you're not drafting him at pick 11. You went with the best corner available at that time, which you still need. The Niners need a cornerback. So let's not act like we don't need cornerbacks, man. It's Deommodore Lenoir and it's Renardo Green, and everybody else after that is whatever. So you get the guy that you can get. So this is when going after a guy like Will Johnson makes sense. And remember I said at the beginning of the episode, what if the Niners have a plan? What if the plan is, look, we're looking to trade back up and we're going to get the corner now and we're going to get our defensive tackle toward the end. And then you still, and you can try to trade. If you watch my mock draft episode, check out my finale mock draft episode. Check it out. Trust me, the trade scenarios worked out perfectly for your boy Breezie. And I mean perfectly for me. I was able to trade back into the second round, and I ended up with 2 extra picks. So watch that mock draft episode. It's my final mock draft from this particular show. You don't want to miss out on it. It was phenomenal. It aired earlier this morning at 9 a.m. I'm telling you, the Niners have an ability to really work the phones if they can get the other teams to go along with whatever their plan is. All right. So there's a possibility that the Niners can look to get a top corner, top defensive tackle. You got a guy that's a disruptor and a finisher up front. You got a guy that can potentially be a lockdown corner, high IQ out there, is going to make that quarterback in them flats. We talk about the flat, throw a pick six. This is what he does. Pick six. He makes you throw pick sixes. All right. So let's play around with one of the scenarios. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the mock draft simulator going. All right. And we're not going to fully mock draft. We're just going to play with the trade scenarios. All right. If you want to watch the mock draft, check out the episode. All right. Is where I did it. Now, I'll try to do all the scenarios that I said. We'll trade. We'll see if we can force a trade up. All right. I don't know. I've never tried to. I think I tried to trade up earlier in the mock draft season, and I traded to the Patriots because I wanted to jump in front of Jacksonville to get Mason Graham. So I'm going to try to see if this will work. All right. So we said that, and we'll do a 3-round mock draft because that's pretty much what we're giving up. And for those out there that remember what the hell I said, you can remind me in the live chat. All right. So let's go ahead and just keep it in the middle. Keep that in the middle. Draft for needs is cool. All right. Boom, 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 boom. I want to put this on slow because actually I'm going to try to trade. I'm hoping that it goes the way I said that it was going to go. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay. I wanted to do it with the computer just to make it a little bit more realistic. All right. Now I hope I could pause this. All right. I can. But it didn't draft. So draft. Boom. This you got to be kidding me. Ain't no way Tennessee going with Abdul Carter. You see how this stuff want to do me? All because I said I'm going to do it. It doesn't want to do it. All right. Now, I'm not trying to make it do what I want to do. Bump that. I'm just going to draft for the teams. I'm just going to draft. No, I don't want to do that. It's corny. Ain't that something? All right. Let's see what happens now. I'm not going to change up any of their parameters. All right, they went Cam Ward, just like I thought. Now, I'm hoping, don't laugh at me, that was funny. All right, I'm hoping, that they go Travis Hunter, right? Like that's the plan. So if they don't go Travis Hunter, this changes up things. I don't think that the Niners would trade up to get Travis Hunter, even though they can use a wide receiver, even though they can use they could use a wide receiver, even though I see some of your questions. I'll make sure I'll address some of those at the end of the show. Let's see. I'm scared to click it because I feel like they're not going to go Travis Hunter because I've been asking. Oh, they went Shedeur Sanders. So this changed up everything. I've not seen Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders go 1 and 2 in a very freaking long time. And I'm with you, yes, sir. This is what's confusing me. Like, there's an identity problem. Do you want to be a cornerback? He wants to be both. And at this point, bruh, you're already little, Trav. Just pick a position, master it, and then let them filter you in when they need to filter you in. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to trade up. Now, I said I was going to give up first and a third, and there's a 75% chance, which is greater than 50, right? So there's a 75% chance, okay, that the San Francisco, that they'll accept this trade. So let's go see what happens. And they did not. Which I said that it might cost the Niners more. And you got to remember, my initial trade was putting in an extra first. But I'm not going to give them up. So let's do a 2027 fourth. All right? So we're going to give up some stuff. Now, he's not a quarterback, so I'm not trying to give up more than the 2 first, right? Like, I'm just not trying to give up more than the 2 first. So let's just see what happens. Offer the trade. All right, so they accepted it. Now, I can have my pick and the San Francisco 49ers. And I just wanted you to see how this potential draft may fall if it goes this way. And I'm going to put it back on fast. I'm going to put the pick in for Abdul Carter. All right, it's not a mock draft episode, but we're just doing trade scenarios right now. And we'll take Abdul Carter. The Niners will get him. And then when we get to the 2nd and 3rd round, let's see what we come up with. Now, I see some questions out there on the live show. I will get to those toward the end of the show. All right. So now this gets interesting because, I love me some Trey Amos. That's another outside guy. I feel like if I'm not getting Will Johnson, I'm going Trey Amos here. But the Niners, I still feel like they need to address the interior of the defensive line. They can go corner here. They went corner last year in the second round, and I just want to see who's available for the San Francisco 49ers at the interior on the defense. So you got Omar Norman Lott, CJ West. I prefer kind of West. He's played more snaps, so I can see us going West and maybe trying to snag like an Aeneas Peebles or something like that. So I might just take that top corner right here for the San Francisco 49ers and try to get the edge rusher, in my opinion, a little bit later. So I'm going to take the corner right here, and we got those two third-round picks, and it's only just third. We're going to do the other two scenarios as well. You know what I mean? We're going to do those other two scenarios. These mother. Why is it when I mock draft, right, they know what I want? Somebody tell me that. I said I wanted CJ West. They took CJ West. All right. I still think that the Niners need to go interior right here. It does seem like it's going to be a reach. I don't know why they have this kid so low, but I really want Aeneas Peebles. So I'm going to not draft him here, but I'm definitely going to get him. Now, everybody knows I love Andrew Makuba as a safety, and I want him. The Niners signed like 15 safeties in the offseason, and they already got some on the roster. And they didn't bring any for the top 30 visits. It's almost safe to say that they don't even address the safety position in this draft. Not saying that they won't. I'm just saying I don't think that they're going to. All right. Now, did I get my edge? I did. I got him. All right. So there's a bunch of edge rushers still available. And this is kind of like why you want to go defensive tackle first, right? Not edge. But I got the best edge. So I don't see us really doubling up. Now, I do like Oluwafemi Oladejo because I feel like you can drop him back into the linebacking. He could play on the strong side. He can cover those tight ends. I think that would be a solid pick. I wouldn't mind going doubling up there. Like, you know what I mean? So boom, boom, boom. And now let's see who's going to be available with that last third round pick. All right. And I think this is where you address. All right. So I'm just focusing on the defense on this first three rounds. All my first round picks, defense. Now I like Jamari Caldwell because I want to be able to stop the run up the middle. So for me, my first pick, and yes, I know I need a linebacker, but my theory is to convert the 1-year edge rusher, Oladejo, into playing on the strong side as a linebacker. All right. His versatility should be there. I'm going to go with Jamari Caldwell to help plug the gaps up in the middle. And that's how the Niners could potentially end up with a solid ass draft just for the first 3 rounds. This is day 1 and day 2. That's what we were focusing on if they traded up. All right, if they traded up. Now, I got 2 more scenarios to give you before I let y'all get up out of here. I feel like I'm going to download that image. We're going to go back at this again. All right, we're going to leave everything to where it was. Select the 49ers. And then the next scenario, I said trade down, right? All right, I said trade down. So we're going to trade down. We're going to try to trade and swap picks with the what was the team? Let's see. I got to see the team. The Broncos. All right. So we're going to try to see if we can trade and get that pick with the Broncos. So let's just start the draft and kind of, dang. And I'm on the clock, right? I'm on the clock. I do see my guy there. The Broncos want to trade. Let's see who's offering the trades. That's another thing. Look, the Denver Broncos. How smart am I? Like the Denver Broncos. All right. So we're going to ask for 51. And I know I know we can get more here, but we're not. Okay, we're not going to play the game. We did the point value. They do owe us a little bit more points, so we could probably add a little pick on at the end. That's going to be worth maybe 10 points. So if you want to do it like that, cool. You can get 208. Oh, cool. So let's offer the trade. All right, so we're going to get 20, and we're going to have another second-round pick, and then we get a 6th-round pick. All right, so that's what we did. They accepted it. Boom, boom, boom. Where did they go? Look at how God worked. Look at it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at how God's working. All right, so now the Niners, okay, can still get that top interior guy because it's tough, man. If you don't get them top edge rushers early, there's several edge rushers the Niners can get specific style. We talked about the big ones. We talked about the small, quick ones. There's several. I do see Kelvin Banks. That's the guy that Jack said, why won't the Niners go? You definitely may go with him at 20 for sure, right? 20 for sure. But Walter Nolan's going to be the pick right here. All right, so you take Walter Nolan, and remember, we get an extra 2nd-round pick. extra second round pick. All right. So you address the interior here, and it's kind of like house money. I still think you go with the cornerback because of the value. And so you want to get that outside big coverage corner guy. Don't talk a lot about Trey, but 6'1", 190, great body frame out there. You can see he's good in man. He's good in zone coverage, and he can freaking tackle. I think that's the point. So I think you still go corner. Now, why? Because they went corner last year. All right, they went corner last year. So now with pick 51, which is the pick that we got in the trade, that was our pick at 43, you could kind of play with some house money right here. You could kind of play with house money, right? It's not really your pick. You know, you still got positions you need to address. You still got 2 more picks in the 3rd round. This is where the Niners could go get that big XY receiver like a Jaden Higgins to come in here. Juwan Jennings is on the last year of his deal. Okay, why not? Why not go after Jaden Higgins? Why not go after a Demetrius Knight that can give you the sideline speed that you're missing from Dre Greenlaw? Why not go after the tackling machine like a Carson Schwezinger? There's so many ways that the Niners can go as far as what their needs are. We've already got the corner. We've already got the interior guy. We do need an edge rusher, but I think we can pick up a solid edge rusher in round 3. So if I'm the 49ers with this particular pick, I think I'm going to go ahead and address the defense. I think Robert Saleh gets defense and defensive players so that he can kind of like reshape and remold the defense in the way that he sees fit. So now you get your sideline to sideline guy, and now you're at pick motherfreaking 75, which is back in the 3rd round. And this is kind of like where the draft can, resume. I see Olawufemi Oladejo. I love Josiah Stewart. I think he's going to be a pass rushing machine in the NFL, but if the Niners want to add the size to their game, they go with the guy that they are high on. I think you go ahead and grab him. And then the last pick in the 3rd round, you go ahead and cap it off. I think this is where you can go offensive line. You could go get the Tate Ratledge. Why? Because you have a hole at the guard spot, right? And so now the first 3 rounds, you've literally just reshaped and replenished what you lost out there, right? That's what you did. You replenished what you lost out there. They didn't like the Demetrius Knight pick. Cool, no problem. You can go Carson Schwezinger. I really feel like you get the best bang the down. You want to get the guy that's a disruptor. That's Demetrius Knight. Okay, that's Demetrius Knight. So let's save this one. I got one more draft scenario for you guys, so just stick around. All right, one more trade scenario for you guys, so just stick around. Don't leave yet. We'll do the last one really quickly, which I think was trading back up into round 1, right? So we want to trade back into round 1. So the first thing you do is you just kind of like see how the board falls. You don't trade before the draft. You just let the board play out and you kind of see how it falls to you. All right, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, boom, 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 boom. And who's going to be at 11? All right, so who's going to be at 11? And I see Walter Nolan. He's there. You can go Walter Nolan. I see Mike Green. He's there. All right. We talked about getting Will Johnson, getting one of those top corners. A lot of top players are there right now in round 1. But what if there's an opportunity to walk away in this draft with a Mike Green and a Walter Nolan in round 1? All right, let's try it. Let's just try it. All we could do is try it. So we'll draft our guy, and we're going to pause it as we see a couple of the people come off the clock. All right, boom. So let's get to 15. Let's see. Did Genty went to the Saints? So they might not want to trade. Oh, there it is. All right, so let's go Minnesota. And we want to trade with them. They don't want to trade with us. Like, we want to trade with them, right? So we want to get back into it. So it's going to cost us these, right? So that's what we want. We want to trade that. We'll offer the trade. And now we're on the board because if you look at, I see Jahai Campbell, he went to the Cowboys, boo, whatever. I just think getting back to, when we get to 24, we're going to have our shot at one of these top tackles, potentially. It's on slow right now, so I don't know how it's going to go, all right? I just feel like they shouldn't go tackle. Boom, and look at it. We literally were able to land 2 premier defensive players. If you can give Robert Saleh a draft like this, it's a win, mother freaking win. You feel me? Like, win. Now, we don't pick again until that 3rd round pick, so let's go ahead and speed it up. All right, now check this out. I'll recap this for those that are still watching live. Appreciate you. Make sure you smash that like button, and shout out to all the comments out there. All right, truly appreciate you guys. We gave up. We gave up 75, so we got that comp pick left. And hey, I mean, what do you want to do? We got edge. We don't need to go edge again. Again, if you like the theory of moving Oladejo to playing the strong side of the linebacker, then you go with him. All right, you go with him. Why? Because that's his natural position. That's his natural position. He's an off-ball linebacker. That's his natural position. He just had to become an edge rusher, right? So in 1 year he became an edge rusher. So 6'3", 250, good size for an off-ball linebacker. Hey, I wouldn't mind going that route. I'm gonna draft him because I'm gonna use him in a different way than what most people think. He's an edge rusher. He's an edge rusher. He's an edge rusher. And look at how this draft panned out. I've never once got an A+ in this draft. I think I got A+ in the draft. I didn't know. I've never gotten an A+ in my life in mock drafting. This to me is the scenario I think that the San Francisco 49ers should look to go. Why? Because now you're getting top quality players back to start and make an impact week 1. Top quality. You just got the best edge rusher in the draft as far as getting to the quarterback. 17 sacks proved it. You just got one of the best interior pass rushers in Walter Nolan, being able to be disruptive, get into the backfield. The run stops are there. The pass rushing is there. It's there. It's complete. And then you signed up and you got another edge if need be, and can play linebacker for you. If you guys like Jahad Campbell, you're going to love Oluwafemi. Now, I think Jahad Campbell's speed allows him to play more on the weak side, whereas Oluwafemi will allow you to play on the Sam side, the strong side, the guy that's going to, cover some of those slower positions, the tight ends, not the receivers, not the running backs, right? And things like that, right? Coming out of the backfield. So those are some draft scenarios. All right, so the poll question, I do want to get to that before we dip up out of here. And then I do know there's a couple of other questions that I saw that I starred. Which 49ers first round trade scenario would you choose? And right now, with 52% of the votes, 52% of the votes say that they want to trade down in the first round. Give yourselves a round of applause for voting. And I get it, right? You're like me. You want those top 100 picks. You want as many top 100 picks as you can get, right? I get it. That's what you want. All right. Easy Tino says, hey, what top 30 players came to visit? All right. So can you do me a favor? Give me 1 second. And let me get that pulled up for you. So let me stop this screen. All right. And then let me see if I have that picture, because I think saved it to my computer. And if I got it, you Gucci. All right, here we go. All right, so the top 30 visits are as follows. Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle. Michael Williams, edge rusher. Shamar Stewart, edge. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle. Walter Nolan, defensive line. James Pierce Jr., edge. Josh Connerly and Ariante Ursery, edge. Darius Alexander, defensive lineman. Because he can play interior and exterior for sure. Harold Fanta Jr., one of the top tight ends. Marcus Bowe, who is really a tackle, but they're going to play interior. Omar Norman Lott, interior guy on defensive line. Kyle Williams, wide receiver. Anthony Belton, offensive tackle. Chris Paul Jr., a.k.a. Pooh, linebacker. Quincy Riley, corner. Aeneas Peebles, defensive lineman. David Walker, edge. Kobe Bryant, corner. Caleb Rogers, interior offensive lineman. Elijah Roberts, defensive lineman. I think he's more of an edge too as well. Jackson Halls, tight end. Jalen Conyers, tight end. Bilal Cone, corner. Kane Madrino, linebacker. Jordan Watkins, wide receiver. And center, Jonah Monium. Those were the top 30 visit players that came. So I hope that answers your question. All right, brother. And again, thank you for asking. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. More shows to come. Make sure you got your alerts on all, and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on a BAM show or whenever. You never know when they're going to come on. Hopefully we'll be bringing you a BAM today, talking about more draft day stuff. All right. And don't forget to check out some of the other videos. I got my sleepers videos, sleeper picks for the 49ers. That will be coming very soon. I got some guys guys you've never even heard of that I think can come into the San Francisco 49ers and make their way onto this roster for sure. You guys have been a wonderful crew. Shout out to the Breezie Bunch crew one more again. Thank y'all so much for your love and your support. All the subscribers out there, I appreciate y'all. And until the next time, keep it mother freaking faithful to the Bay. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.